The Crypto Markets Update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
Checking in for our live look at Bitcoin. The CoinDesk Bitcoin price XVX index is currently trading at 39,875. Bitcoin is flatlining over the past 24 hours. And the CoinDesk Ether price ETX index is at 2313, slightly up almost 1% over the day. And the new DFX, CoinDesk's DeFi index, is at 498. DeFi is down about 0.4%. And joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Rich Rosenblum, co-founder and president of crypto trading and market maker GSR Markets. Welcome to the show, Rich. So we've seen Bitcoin between this 30 to 40,000 range. There was a bump earlier in the week, but it still seems to be range bound. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think the thing about crypto that makes it so fascinating is that even in a quiet holding pattern, we can see some excitement. The past 9 days, Bitcoin's added a third to its value, but it still hasn't really broken out. I don't know if we're hearing as much interest for it to reach new highs, and I think it's solidified its place here. I think it's unlikely we're going to see below 30 over the summer. I think we'll be, could be like a ping pong ball, but I think we'll be in this similar type of 30 to 50 range.
Good morning, Rich. We're seeing an increase in options. The option open positions, they were about $5 billion about a week ago or so. It's now up to $7 billion, obviously, with the rally. But where are the bets going? How are people positioned? These new option open interest positions. How are they positioned?
So I think that people have a recency bias. They want to bet with the momentum. I think that that's typical of retail-driven markets, but also I think that we've seen a lot of trending happening in crypto. So there was a good amount of put buying, and now more recently in the past week, post the B-Word conference, it's more been September and December $50 call buying.
So you mentioned that we're probably not going to see any dramatic price action in Bitcoin over the summer, but what do you think it would take to just bring Bitcoin back up to one of its previous highs? Like what kind of macro event would do that in your opinion?
I think if we would have had Amazon come out and say that they do have plans, almost regardless of the timeline, to start using Bitcoin as a form of payment, I think we could be at new highs almost instantly. It's the second biggest retailer in the world, the biggest online retailer. I think if we had a bounce face from China, I'm not saying this is likely, but if it happened where China was somehow putting out something pro-Bitcoin, I think that we could see a renewed highs.
And just sort of on the other side of the coin, what are the kind of more dangerous things to look out for that could bring Bitcoin's price down? Would it just be kind of like a regulatory crackdown, or what are some of the warning signals to watch out for?
I'd say it's overwhelmingly regs, especially out of China. I think there is a chance that China will say there's an outright Bitcoin ban. But at the same time, I don't think that it would mean it's completely down and out. What happens is that they'd want to take control away from the people, but it doesn't mean they'd want to give control to the U.S. There's a bitter war going on, whether it's in AI, not so different than the Cold War. And I think that crypto is too important a piece of technology to be completely escaping the country. So I think if we had that big dip, I think that it probably wouldn't be such fresh lows, because I think the Chinese military government would be buying it on the dip. I think the other thing would just be a disinterest from traditional financial players due to the volatility, and we are seeing mostly interest in the equities recently, private equity, and hasn't been as much interest in tokens. So I think if that trend continued, where there was a disinterest from the traditional financial players, that could be another reason why we'd see some extreme weakness.
So what are you seeing from institutions and how they're positioning themselves right now? I mean, we've been hearing about a lot of interest over the past couple of months. Is that continuing on, or has it died down?
There's been less interest. I'd say that much of that is due to the price pattern. It's no longer as solid and low volatility of a rally it's been. But I don't think that means that there's no interest. If the interest is down 80%, that's still probably 5 times the interest we saw 2 years ago from institutions. A large part of that is because the space is big enough for large institutions to enter. if you want to put on a 300 million position, you could put it on relatively easy, within even a day or two. It wasn't like that 2 years ago. So I think that the capacity of the market is able to enable both entries and exit without much friction.